guys. Welcome to Teas and Testimonies, episode 4. I cannot believe we're already on episode 4. It's kind of crazy. But this is the fruit of the spirit that we're going to talk about today, which is patience. Today we have a very, very special guest. He is our cameraman, so everything that you see on Teas and Testimonies, dealing with the camera or any audio that you see posted or anything on social media, is all Steve. And he's also the president of SGA here on campus. So that's a pretty big accomplishment. And he just has so many different roles, like president and treasurer and just all the things that you can think of on campus. So I will just toot his horn because he's amazing, but also because he's my boyfriend and I love him a lot. And he's great. So yes, I'm super excited about him being on the podcast. He's also our first guy being on Teas and Testimonies, which is also pretty cool. So girls, get your boyfriends, get your best guy friends, and tell them to listen to Teas and Testimonies because we have a guy that's going to be on the show. And we also have other guys lined up, so just be prepared for that as well. I was trying to think about what else I wanted to say about you, but I think
that's a wonderful introduction.
Okay.
So great. So great.
Blow your head up a little bit. But I picked patience for Steve to do because he is the most patient guy that you will ever meet. And always tells me to be patient. Patience is not my strength whatsoever, and he will tell you that all the time. But yes, I'm excited for you guys to hear all the wise words that he's going to tell you, and I just hope that you leave encouraged and that you leave feeling like you can go through life being a patient person and living in that fruit of the spirit of patience. And if you're all wondering, yes, me and Steve are matching today with our shirts that we got, our New York shirts. We did not go to New York. We simply went to H&M and got these t-shirts. But matching kind of characterizes our relationship. We just kind of match in personality.
Exactly.
Sometimes you're a little more than me.
I
don't know. You be a little bit much. But we also try to match with our clothes. So that's something that a simple joy for us as a couple to match.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, let's move on. Today we are drinking blueberry zinger tea. I think it's called blueberry zinger, or maybe blueberry. Yeah, it has to be blueberry zinger tea. And it's supposed to taste like blueberries. So, Steve, you like blueberries?
I do like blueberries.
Okay.
Especially like in my Kobo smoothies, I always get blueberries.
You do always get blueberries.
Exactly.
Okay. All right, let's try it. Now, I didn't put honey in it for you. And I know you like your stuff sweet. So you just have to tell them the honest truth about...
I'm going to let y'all know.
Okay, about what it tastes like.
Wait.
It's not bad.
It's not bad at all.
I know.
It's really, like, you can really taste the blueberry.
It tastes like a little blueberry muffin in tea form.
It does.
In a cup. It's so good, y'all. Like, this may be my favorite tea because of how good it is. Like,
I like it.
I do
like
too.
it. It's like very...
It's blueberry muffin.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's also giving, like, cleanliness. Like, very clean and crisp.
Like, you don't need any honey, really.
Right.
Like, it's just fresh.
Right.
Y'all, get this tea.
Detox.
Get this tea. Get it. I'm going to leave the actual name. I'm pretty sure it's Blueberry Zinger, but the actual name of the tea in the comment section so that you guys can see it. But it is an amazing tea.
I like it.
I like it too. It would be good on your episode. Okay, well, I'm gonna keep drinking it throughout the show. But let's get to it. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Let's go.
I'm so excited. Y'all are gonna love it. Okay. So we're gonna start off with a fun question. And it's going to be, what was a toy that you had to wait for when you were a little kid? and you finally got it. Or maybe it's a toy you never got. And Mama and Papa Williams didn't give you the toy. So
actually, my parents have been very great at giving me like many gifts. So like if you're watching, Mom and Dad, thank you so much. But I would say it was the Wii. It had to be the Wii. The Wii. Like every commercial, I would see it. Every time I would see it in a magazine or like just anywhere in the store, I'd be like, I want this toy so bad. But but then I had to wait, just wait, and then it was during Christmas time, and I opened up all my presents. I was like, if I don't get a week, if I really don't get a week,
then you gonna be upset.
I'll be upset. But then it was the last present I opened, and I was so excited. And then I played that thing until the wheels fell off.
I know. I heard that Papa Williams beat you in tennis a lot.
Okay.
We ain't
that is a lie.
Okay.
That is a lie.
Okay.
I feel like I won the majority of the time. You're just gonna have to see.
Oh, okay.
So if you ever catch me with the Wii, let's play tennis and we'll see.
Okay. Also ask him who wins foosball all the time.
It's me. It's definitely me.
Okay. All right. We're gonna try to hold it together on this episode because me and Steve are just
crazy. It's fine.
Okay. So, Steve, you are the most patient person that I know. And when I get frustrated or mad or impatient, you always tell me patience is a virtue. What does patience is a virtue even mean? Because I every single time he would be like, patience is a virtue, and I'll be like, a virtue I don't have that I don't want. But what does that mean for you? Or like, what does it mean in general?
I actually looked this up, but patience is a virtue basically means, and that's what I thought it meant before I even looked it up, but patience is a virtue means that it's a virtue that should be held in high esteem, or like something that should be like a big value in your life. So that really just goes back and just tells you that when God when God said the fruits of the Spirit, patience was a staple in all the fruits of the Spirit.
Yeah.
Like, it's something that we need in our lives. It's not something that we can just toss aside and just put it at the back burner. It's one of those things where you have to work on it. It's not something that just comes instantly in your life. It's something that you have to learn through sermons, learn through experiences in your life. So it should be held in high esteem because you deal with so much inconveniences in your life, and you're waiting and you're talking and you're just going throughout life, and sometimes people wait for stuff for a long time. And you get frustrated, you get tired, but when you have patience that comes from God and not just from yourself, you really just have the endurance to just endure all that life throws at you.
Yeah. That's a good one. I didn't realize that it meant like it's a high value. Like, you need this in your life. And of course it would be, because like God told us to have it. But also it's like apparently just a regular saying, like patience is a virtue. Right. It just became something that people just say. But actually it's like, listen to what they say. Patience is a virtue. Virtues are like those things that you are like, this is important. These are things that you need to have in your heart, that you need to live out in your life. Like love and hope, all the fruits of the Spirit. Just virtuous traits to have, but especially patience. Okay, now this is a little different from the toy example of like wanting the Wii, but can you give a time in your life where you really wanted something and you had to be patient and you knew that God was teaching you that patience, and like in the end you were like, man, God, thank you for letting me wait? So what's an example of that?
Yes. As you already know, I want to be an actor in TVs and movies. And that is what my love for theater has grown into. It's just wanting to entertain people, make people laugh, and just glorify God through that.
Right.
But I wasn't always as... what's the word you would call it? Refined in my
refined in your art.
Refined in my art. Yes. It took some time. It took some time to like make sure that I was able to sing all the notes and sing in tempo, and like make sure I have tone and texture and the right amount of or using my voice well. Because sometimes I wanted to be almost every guy in theater wants to be a tenor. They want to be a tenor so bad. And I promise you, I wanted to be a tenor so bad. But when that puberty came and that voice change came, God was like, you are a baritone. You are a baritone, and you are made to sing in the baritone section. So it took some time to learn that. It took some time to really get in touch with my emotions and really master reactions and stuff like that. But story. I auditioned to be a part of Lion King. And you know this story. And I auditioned to be Simba. I did. I wanted to be Simba so bad. I watched the movie 1,000 times. I knew the music. I had my solo all ready for it. I just can't wait to be king, ready and out. But I didn't get it. I didn't get it, and I was so upset that I didn't get it. And to be quite honest, I thought the person that actually got it didn't deserve it. I thought I deserved it.
So you were just mad.
I was just mad. I was just mad. I was just like, I deserved it. Like, why didn't I get it?
Yeah. And
it wasn't until I went through the rehearsal process and actually performing the show, and a little bit afterwards, it was like a little bit after doing the show even, that I realized I wasn't ready to be Simba. I wasn't ready vocally. I wasn't ready acting wise. I wasn't ready mentally to be Simba. And I think it was a time of God teaching me that I am growing you and I am preparing you for what is to come. And I don't want to give you something that you're not prepared for. Because if I give it to you, then if you mess it up, then you're really going to be upset and you're really not going to know what to do.
Yeah.
So,
and then the risk would be high because then you mess up on like a really big thing
that I would love to do, and if I mess it up, then I'm going to be so upset at myself. And so it was really a time of like me appreciating and not always being in the spotlight. Me appreciating being in the background and being ensemble. And ensemble, I had to learn, ensemble was a great role because you're in all the songs. You get to appreciate being in every dance and learning on the music. And so I had to learn to appreciate being in the background, being in the ensemble, then to appreciate having a lead role. And I was a lead role in my in Willy Wonka. I was Willy Wonka in high school.
Y'all should go to his Instagram and look at him in the little purple. He's so cute.
Yeah. But I got to, and then now I'm in like the Count of Monte Cristo, and I have an antagonist role. He's one of like, he's not like the lead, but like
a big character.
He plays a big role in this story, and so now I appreciate the work that goes into having those roles. And back then I didn't appreciate it. I just wanted it just to want it. I didn't really know what work went into it. And so that's one thing that God has taught me with patience is just the journey and like you knowing and appreciating.
And him preparing you in that time. Like I feel like sometimes we're waiting and we're like, what am I learning? What am I doing? I just don't want to. But God is like, be patient. Let me work in you, you know? And that just really, oh my gosh, that just really made me think about what I've been reading in Philippians, where I think it's a verse that says that God will complete his work in you. Because sometimes when we're waiting, it just feels like, God, you left me. Like, I'm not doing nothing and nothing's happening. But God is like, I always finish my work. I always complete what I'm doing. You will always be where I've called you to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even if you don't see it. But God always completes a good work in us. Even when we have. And sometimes it just causes us to wait. So, yeah.
And also, like, another thing, like, in my life, just to apply to peace, is me being here at Union. At first, Union was not on my radar. I wanted to go straight. At one point, I wanted to go to Juilliard and just audition and just to go to Juilliard and do acting, period. Just not do anything else. But I realized after like being here and me having peace into coming into Union and having peace about that decision, I was like, okay, then what am I supposed to do here? Because I know I want to be an actor. I know I want to be an entrepreneur. But how is being at Union, which is not like it's a liberal arts school, but it's not famous for its arts. So I was like, what am I supposed to do here? And then I realized these 4 years are going to be the most transformative years in my life. And
Mm-hmm.
so this is a time to study, to learn, and to really grow in my craft. Because even though I'm not a theater major, I'm a theater minor. So I still have to take classes, and I'm
Yeah.
still learning and growing. And I promise you, if I did not come here to Union, I would not be able to grow. I wouldn't have been able to grow as much in acting wise
Mm-hmm.
than I think anywhere else.
Really?
So because
Wow.
I have such a good um, acting professor, Mrs.
Mm-hmm.
K. We love Mrs. K.
She's
Like she just
amazing.
thinks of things
Yeah.
that you would never be able to think about.
Yeah.
And also a unique thing about being here at Union is that it's small enough to where not everyone's your competition.
Yeah.
Like you're able to like learn and like not have to feel like, oh, I'm being compared to this person. I'm comparing myself to that
like
person.
You have space to grow. Yes.
Right, and to
but
make
also,
mistakes. Yeah.
Your development spiritually here has been like amazing. Like
Exactly.
I think if I would have went somewhere else, I would not have.
Exactly.
Oh my
Exactly.
gosh.
So I definitely don't regret ever coming to Union. Not
Yeah.
ever. No.
Yeah, me too. I agree. I had a lot of college choices. It's just hard, but
Mm-hmm.
okay. So I hate waiting. And you know that. Like you know
Yes,
that I hate
yes,
waiting.
yes.
It's just bad.
It's a little bit of a struggle.
It's a little bit of a struggle. It's a lot of a struggle. And I always feel like I need to do something to make time go by faster and faster. What do you do in the process of waiting? Like, what are some practical things that you do when you wait?
Right. So, in waiting and like being patient, you have to rest in God. You have to rest in what He said to you, what He says in Scripture. I have plans to prosper you, to make a great life for you.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't want harm to us. He doesn't want like he's not full of malice.
Yeah.
God is not full of malice.
Like I'm gonna make you wait just to be mean to
just
you,
to make you suffer.
Yeah.
Like no, like
Yeah.
that's not His goal.
Yeah.
He knows that He knows where you want to be. He knows what you dream of doing. He knows all those things. And so life and things that life throws at you is what's preparing you for that.
Yeah.
It's not for nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing is never, well, anything that's hard in life is not just for nothing. It's not just because that it's, dang, you have to suffer this and it's hard. Well, you learn something from those times.
And as believers, God tells us that everything works out for our good, you know,
Exactly.
even in waiting. And it's just so funny that you just said rest. Because I was like, when I'm waiting, I'm busy. Like, I'm trying to do stuff. And you just said rest, you know? Rest in knowing that God is going to complete that work in you. Or even if it's not even what you expected. Like, you didn't expect to get Simba. Or like you didn't want to not get Simba or whatever, but he gave you something different. But even in like waiting for something and then not getting it, he's like, this is still good for you,
truly,
you know, and like
truly.
Still working out for you. So
yeah, and a lot of good came from being in the ensemble in that role.
Yeah,
I got to know my directors so well, and then I was able to get an internship with them and learn even more about theater. So
God just worked it out.
He worked it out for my good. Yes, He did.
Yeah,
yes.
That's so good. That is so good.
Yes.
I thought that's great. Just rest when you waiting. Just rest, people. Just rest. don't be busy.
Yes.
Just I hate waiting. It's just so bad. I'm like, I just need to do something. I need to run and get it done.
Yeah.
But God is like, let me do it. You know.
Right.
Like,
and then that's why. And the fruits of the Spirit are so interconnected with each other.
Yes.
Because when you rest, when you have the peace of God and you're in the process of waiting, you're just resting.
Yeah.
You're just resting in like what He has done, what He is doing, and what He's going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not just you, I'm waiting, I'm even more waiting, I'm suffering, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
But it's just you resting and knowing that God is good through it all. Truly.
That's so good. Oh, okay, Stevie. That's really good. All right. Okay. This one, hard for me. What about with people?
Oh.
What about when we waiting for people,
Yes.
Steve? Like,
I hope you know that I'm about to drink this whole
me
like,
too.
cup of tea.
Y'all, this is the best tea that we have had on this show. And all the teas have been great, but this blueberry tea is the best. And Steve don't even like tea.
I truly don't. And so
this is
being about to drink it all is like something. But yes.
But yeah. So what about people? Like, ooh, them people that you have in your life that they can really be, as you like to say, tapping on their nerves, tap dancing on your nerves. And you just have to be patient because they are in your life. And you cannot snap at them because then we're not walking in that love that we talked about previously.
Right.
So how can we be patient with people? Because you do. I'm part of the reason why I love you is because of how patient you are with people, and you are just able to just meet people where they are. And maybe I'm stealing what you're gonna tell me, but I can't. Oh my gosh. Sometimes I'm like, why are you like this? Like, you just need to change. Just hurry up and change. But that's not, how are we patient with people? How can we walk in that fruit of the spirit when it comes to people?
Right. My dad, he's a pastor, and he taught this sermon about framing your mindset. Mm-hmm. And like looking at things from a bigger picture. Sometimes as people and also as believers, we just hone in on this one little thing that's just like that thorn in your side, like with Paul, that thorn in your side, and you just hone in on it and you focusing on it, and it's just irritating you. It's irritating you. But when you're dealing with people, you have to realize that people are so complex. We go through a whole bunch in life. And so I don't know, especially with dealing with people, I don't know what you've been through in your life. Especially if I just met you, or if I'm friends with you, I don't know every single thing that happened in your life when I'm friends with you. Mm-hmm. Like there wasn't a TV show going on filming your life. It wasn't like
I think there is a TV show about Krista though. Like Krista. Okay.
I don't know. Okay. But I don't know everything. And so something might have made you snap today. And it might have made you just a little bit snappy towards me. And so then I have to reset. And if you're snappy towards me, I might be like, but I have to realize that you might have had a bad day. Mm-hmm. You might have just got a bad grade on your test. You might have just had a horrible conversation with your roommate or with your parents. And so
it's more to the story.
And you have to frame your mind around that. It's not just this one puzzle piece. It's just this big picture of a person that you're not fully able to see. Yeah. Not just yet.
Yeah.
But like, it's just, okay, let me rethink. Let me show grace. Let me have patience toward that person, because it just takes time to get to know that person and just to really hone in on how they react to things as well.
So you said grace. That's a big one, because grace, woo, that's so. Would you say that grace and patience go together? Are they hand in hand?
Absolutely. I feel like grace and patience absolutely go hand in hand. I mean, patience, when you're giving somebody patience, like when you're waiting during that time period, you're, especially with people, like if you did something bad to me and I give you patience and I give you time to figure it out, but I don't forget about it, I hold that against you. Mm-hmm. That's not right. That's not
walking in that fruit of the spirit.
That's not walking in love.
Yeah.
So in order for me to continue on with our relationship, I have to give you patience, and I also have to give you grace and let it smooth over and let the old pass away. Yeah. and let you, and not reprimand you again and bring it and slap it in your face again and be like, well, 2 weeks ago you did this to me, like, and this is why I'm acting like this. Like, no, like, they go hand in hand and they really complement each other. They do, because you can't have one without the other. Truly.
That's good. Well, I guess you can't have one without the other if you're a believer. Because you
Right.
can be patient with people, but still be like, but I know how you are. And I'm going to hold this against you.
Right.
But I'm being patient. But grace smooths it over, and it forgives, and it allows you to move forward and leave the other stuff behind. That's good.
Right.
That's really good.
Yeah.
So you need both of them.
Truly.
Because, woo, you know, people, that's hard. But I have learned that from you, and like seeing you, like how you treat other people. You're like, I'm being patient because I realize that God is doing something in their life and I can't see the bigger picture, but also I'm gonna give you grace and forgive you and meet you where you are. Right. And because that's where you are, and I can't do nothing about it. Exactly. So I'm gonna just give you grace because we all need it. We are not perfect, and if somebody always held something over my head,
I would feel awful.
Yeah,
horrible,
horrible, just bad. Oh, that's so good. Okay, is there a specific passage in the Bible or verse that you go to when it comes to patience? And, well, this is like a 2-part question. So, what is something that you pull out of your pocket? A verse or something. Well, I guess they kind of go together. Something that is like that pocket full of patience that you just like pull out when you are in the heat of being like, this person get on my nerves, or I'm waiting too long for this thing to happen. So where do you go to? What is something you go to?
Right. A specific story that I think about is the prodigal son.
Really?
The prodigal son.
I don't know why I thought you were gonna say Job. But
also Job as well.
Yeah,
but like
but prodigal son, I'm listening.
Yeah. Like, so with the prodigal son, he wanted all his fortune. He wanted everything, every last bit of it. He wasn't willing to wait. He didn't see what his father had in store for him for that fortune. His father could have said, invest it and make it double. And so you can have more. But no, he didn't wait. He decided, you know what? I'm going to take this into my own hands. Give me everything I got. and then just live joyfully. But then once he spent all that money and once he was down in the dumps, he realized patience is a virtue. Patience could have saved me from all the turmoil and all the heartache that I just went through. And so when he came back, his father forgave him. He threw a whole party for him. So I think that's one of the stories that I think about, because like,
if he would have just waited, like he did not have to go through all that. And oh my gosh, it's just so good, because that's how God is for us.
Truly.
Like, sometimes he's like, I'm not finna give you all this stuff because you ain't gonna know what to do with it.
Exactly.
Like, you ain't gonna know what to do.
I'm not finna give you no business right now because you can barely handle your bank account. Like, no.
Exactly.
Like, I'm not finna give you a whole marriage when you can barely handle yourself. Like, no. Like, no. So
be patient. Trust the process. Trust God. Oh my gosh. Going through MTR camp, if y'all listening, I love y'all. But going through MTR camp, and like we used to always say T the P, which I used to hate hearing, because I was like, if I hear T the P one more time, I'm gonna punch somebody. But it was such a good saying, because it's like, trust the process. Trust that this process that you are doing for your children, for your students, is going to work in the end, you know. And it's not like, I want my students to be able to ace all this stuff right in the beginning. But no, trust the process with the Lord or with your student, and take that time so they can get there. And that's how God does for us. We just have to trust his process of like molding us and getting us to where we need to be, because sometimes it's hard. And like when you in school, and when my students are in school and I'm trying to get them to learn something, it's hard and it's frustrating, and they're waiting, but then they finally get it. And it's like, I would have never gotten it or valued it as much as I do now, because I waited and I went through that process. And that's just, it's such a gift, you know, from the Lord. So that was good. Prodigal son. I didn't even make that connection. I always look at the end and I'm like, oh, forgiveness. Like, God, you forgive us even when we leave. But that's a great story to go to for patience.
Right.
So.
Also, with another like story I think about, Abraham and Sarah.
Yeah. Ooh, that's a good one.
And like how Abraham could have avoided all that turmoil with that. He wasn't the extra son, but like the other son,
the extra son.
But like, if he just would have waited, if he would have believed in God and what he had planned, and he was properly forming in him his father skills and like how it is to truly be a father during that time. But
or just when I look at Abraham, it's just faith. Like God was just developing faith in Abraham.
Truly.
Like or in trust. And that's also what patience I feel like pulls out of us. Like faith. Like you just have faith that the Lord is going to keep his word.
Yep.
Abraham, you gonna have a son. Like that, just trust me, you know, and no matter how much we have to wait, it's gonna come to pass. Even when he was like 1,000 years old. But,
right,
you know, it did. So man, a lot of things go into patience. It's like grace and faith and all these big things. Like you said, the fruit of the Spirit, they're all intertwined with one another. And whew, so good. Okay. All right. Now, here's the bonus question for all of our listeners. But also, it's just funny. I don't know why. I think that people just get super excited about relationships. And it's just like, oh my gosh, dating and all this other stuff. And like, it's cool because, you know, couples are cute.
Oh,
but, and like, I feel like a lot of times we like, put on the forefront all the cuteness. Mm-hmm. Like, oh my gosh, we're hugging, we're going to get donuts.
Holding hands, going on
dates. And like, all that's nice, and I'm sure it's true, but you also go through a lot with each other. And that's like the person that you are learning to do life with or learning to understand better. Because it's like, I really like you, you know, we're just seeing where this goes. So, you have to deal with a lot when it comes to patience with me. This is me and Steve's like first like real relationship. Like, you know, you talk to people and date, but like this is our like first real relationship. Right. And like we're going down like 8 months, which is so exciting. So we're gonna make it to a year. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be awesome. But because you are my boyfriend, how important is patience when it comes to a relationship? I know. And like, you can say how you have seen that in our relationship. I don't care if you expose me, you know, it's okay. Or just in general, like, how do you think, how important it is, especially when it comes to just like relationships when it's couples, or it can also just be with like friendships. Mm-hmm. Like, how have you seen that?
Right. I think it also, we'll start. But I think it kind of goes back to the bigger picture again. It kind of goes back to that. I think I told you this like around like last week or something. But like being in a relationship is a dynamic thing that like also, or even just a friendship is a dynamic thing. You have these two people, well, in a relationship really, but in a relationship, I have gone through childhood. Well, as of right now, I've gone through childhood. I've gone through like different family values than you. I have grown up in a household that is different from yours. I have different siblings than you do. I have gone to a different high school that had also different values than what your high school held. I communicated differently than you did. It's so and then also with you, same thing, vice versa. You've gone through different things, and when these two people try to come together and try to communicate and try to be together all the time, it takes some adjustment. It's not just going to be
peaches and cream
and strawberries and rainbows. Like it's not. Yeah. It's gonna be some times where like I don't communicate, which but I'm not the best. I will admit that I'm not the best communicator ever. Yeah. And so,
but you've gotten better. And we have seen a lot of patience with that because we have come a long way.
Exactly.
With communication.
Exactly. Yeah. So like, I'm not the best communicator. And when I come with a person like you that loves to communicate and loves to like fully explain things out and just elaborate, and you come with a non-communicator that's just quiet and recluse.
You just like one word, just one word.
It's fine. Yeah. It's gonna come with some like struggle. Yeah. And so when you first of all, when you're honest with each other and you realize that there is a communication barrier between each other, you have to be honest to let each other know, hey, this is different, and we're trying to get used to it. So you're honest and you edify each other in that as well, and then you have to apply patience and grace, because now that you know it, now you can work on it and approve, but it has to be some patience and grace applied, because it's not going to come naturally. Me becoming a communicator is a process. It is a process, because then you're pulling out of me something that I've never done before. I've never used, it's like a, I've never used it before.
Y'all, when I tell y'all that Steve is the best, he is one of the greatest actors that I've ever seen. And you give him a script and he can do it, and he can do it well. Off script, and he trying to communicate, it's a struggle. And then he's right, I am the over communicator, and I explain my French fry meal with elaborate paragraphs or whatever.
Or it could be even in the way people think.
Yeah.
Like,
we think differently.
We think differently.
Yeah.
Especially guys and girls
completely
differently.
Yeah.
Boys, I'm here with you. We be thinking simple-minded, bullet point 1, 2, 3, and we are over and done with it. Hands off. Girls, no, do this. This is only step 1, though. This is only step 1. Step 2, 3. Oh, don't forget 4, though. But also this. Oh, but don't forget step 10. 10. Oh, don't forget that. And it's just these little increments. And so
I feel like you kind of throwing shade at me and my girls.
No, the girls, we love y'all. We love y'all. It's just my grandmother, her pastor, her pastor, he used the term, girls think pink, boys think blue. So we just think completely differently. And so there's gonna be a communication barrier with that as well. And so
patience is crucial to fixing that barrier and like making sure that you still are able to walk together. Because it's like, sometimes patience is not my thing, but patience is your thing. And I've learned that from you still, and I'm still learning that, like, okay, like for me, and it may be there for like a lot of girls, but I'm like, okay, Steve, this is your problem and I need you to fix it right now. Like, but Steve doesn't do that to me. You know, it's like we address the problem and it's like, okay, it's a process that the other person, like, give that person grace. Realize that they also have to grow. You are not going to be a completely different person overnight. You're not going to get a skill overnight. You know, no matter how much we want to, no matter how much we think we can. And I feel like in relationships, we expect so much from each other that it's easy to just be like, I want you to do this right now, you know? But at the end of the day, it's like, God is working in you and he is working in me. And those works look a little different, but we together. So we just going to have to work on it.
Exactly.
So, and be patient with that process. So, yeah, you weren't too mean to me. You didn't expose me too much. So,
I told you.
It's good. All right. So, last 2 questions. What's the best advice that you've ever gotten about patience?
I think I wrote that down. Let me see. The first one I got to, but the first one is, which really applied to like the acting story that I told, is man's rejection is God's protection. So like, even though the director didn't choose me for that role, God was protecting me and also and growing me and like instilling in me values that I would use when I would have a lead role. So God was protecting me from that hurt and that pain that I would feel if I ruined that dream role if I just wanted it with a snap of a finger. So my grandmother taught me that one. That was a really, really, really good one that I learned. And also, life is a journey. Life is not just, here's point A and you're trying to make it to point B with all your might.
Life is not a fast food drive-through.
Period.
Period. I literally been thinking about that because I've been talking about French fries all day. I've just been like, fast food.
But like, it's all about the journey. That's how you appreciate things. That's how God blesses you, because you're able to acknowledge him and not to get big-headed about it. Because even though we go through life journey, sometimes we still as people are like, I did this myself. I found this out all by myself. I found out these acting skills by myself. No,
Yeah.
absolutely not. Or I learned how to be a great teacher by myself through through my experiences.
Yeah.
No.
And God uses that process to humble us in some ways and realize that
Exactly.
we need some help. We need improvement. We can grow.
Right.
So, that's a good point. That's good.
So it's about the journey. It's about what you learn through in that process. It's not just this isolated, zoned in point A, point B. Let's try and get to the end of the tunnel. No, it's you learn so much going through that tunnel.
And going through it with the Lord, you're
Yes.
not by yourself. God did not just leave you. And like I said, I keep going back to that verse of God always completes his work. And God knows you want to be an actor. He completes his work and your purpose, and he is not leaving you, And with me being a teacher, sometimes I'm like, God, now just a lot that we gonna have to do.
Right.
And I have to be patient to get and develop the skills that I want to see.
Right.
But with that, God is with me, and he goes through that with me.
Yes.
And teaches me so many things. And one day I will be a good teacher. And one day you will be a good actor and do the things that you need to do. Or maybe not. Maybe God will change your direction.
Exactly.
And that's okay too. Because he's
Exactly.
also in that with us.
Truly.
So.
And we can't, with all these fruits of the spirits that you're talking about through this season, it has to come from God. It can't come from just within ourselves.
Yeah.
That's why Proverbs 3:5-6 is that's the cornerstone. That's that cornerstone verse that I lean on.
Yeah.
Because trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on yourself, but in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths.
Yeah.
Because he knew from the jump when he created us, they're gonna need me. Yeah. They're gonna need somebody that they're just gonna need me because he knows that he is all that truly. But
God is all that.
Yes.
He can have the biggest hand in the world.
Right, exactly.
Because
he is. And so
yes.
We just need to rest in that fact that we can't just do everything by ourselves because we run out of steam.
Yeah.
When Lord knows, I have some times where I have not been patient. I have not been patient, and I've been running off myself, and I have not. God has not poured into me that week, and I've been trying to give out all this patience, all this stuff, but Lord is saying, you haven't been filled with me yet. So what you running off of? You just run off yourself.
Yeah.
And so
and yourself is not going to give you the result that you need.
Exactly.
You're going to be giving some half patience and some other half anger.
Exactly. So it has to come from God. That's the root.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, that's
I'm the vine, you're the branches. He that abideth in me.
He that abideth in me.
Yeah.
Just quote King James Version. Steve speaks in King James Version all the time. And I'm like, I know you don't have a King James Version Bible. But, yes, that's great. I love that. And it is true. We have to depend on the Lord to give us those, to give us the fruit of the Spirit. I think it was Grace that was talking on joy, and she was like, joy is something that the Lord gives. Patience is something that the Lord gives. All of these things are the fruit of the Spirit. Of the Holy Spirit. Yes. Things that he gives us as gifts that we're able to have as believers. These are things that separates us from the world.
Truly. And
because the world sure ain't got no patience with nobody.
Exactly.
And they definitely not giving grace.
Exactly.
But as Christians, we're able to say, I can walk in this because of the Lord. That's so good. And I can rest when I am in that process of waiting because God is good, and I can just rest in his character and knowing that he brings everything to completion. What a wonder. What a wonderful one. You did so good.
Well, thank you.
You did so good. Oh my gosh. Okay, so last question. What are 3 simple joys that just stir your affections for Christ? You're like, oh, Jesus, thank you for this. And I literally say it every time. And I'm like, French fries are my thing. Y'all. if you ever just want to bless me, just send me some French fries in the mail. Well, that's probably gonna be disgusting, but yeah, that's just. I literally am just like, God gave me these little cut potatoes with salt. He probably didn't give me that. Like, that's man-made. But he just helps us to, he just allows us to enjoy them. Right. You know? Take it in a moderation because they are unhealthy. Your body is temple. Our body is temple. But at the same time, like, he allows us to enjoy things. So, what are three simple things? Three simple things that you just enjoy.
The very first thing I have written down right here is rest. We just finished talking about that. Yes. I truly, when I can get a nap in, I surely will. Because like it's just, I'm so glad God, he didn't have to give us rest.
Right.
He didn't have to be like, you know what? They could just work all the time. They could just work. No, he provided us rest so like we could, it doesn't have to be sleep. It does not have to be sleep. Rest could just mean you sit in your room in silence.
Yep.
No talking to your roommates, no talking to your friends, no watching TikTok or YouTube. Like, just silence. Mm-hmm. Rest can mean silence, truly. And God, I love resting. I really do. I can just, y'all, at night, I get so excited to get into bed. I get so excited. Like, I get my cover. I have a like this light blue like comforter that has like wool inside of it. And I turn on my TV and I just pull the cover over myself and I just, and it's just so good. It's just so good.
Stevie, I can't. But it is completely true. And he will sit in there and watch Avatar: Last Airbender until he goes
or Once Upon a Time.
Once Upon a Time. Yeah. Just, Criminal Minds. Maybe don't go sleep on Criminal Minds. That's a little too much. Yeah. But maybe
or That's a Raven, Disney Channel, like all the things. Like, yes. And also, the second one, hang out with friends. And, like, of course, hanging out with my beautiful girlfriend, of course.
We do hang out a lot.
Yes. Yeah. And, like, that's just a joy in itself. Just, like, hanging out with the people that you love. Truly, it's just the best ever. Yeah. It truly is. And, like, it could just be simply, it doesn't have to be going out and, like, doing anything. It could be watching a movie.
Yeah.
I find so much joy in just watching a movie with you or with our friend group. So much joy in that.
And just sitting and being, with people, it's nice. You don't always have to go out and do stuff. It's just like, especially in college, you are always on the go.
Right.
When you can just sit down and be with your friends and enjoy just time with each other, it's really a blessing. Yeah.
And also, it's also a food related thing, my last one.
Okay.
Chicken. Truly.
You did not put chicken on the list.
I promise you I did.
I can't judge.
If I could show it to y'all, I would. Chicken is on this list. It's just such a blessing. Poultry. Like, come on. Like, God
now,
was
chicken, y'all, is Steve's favorite food in all forms.
I'm pretty sure I get it almost every day. Like, almost every day I have some type of chicken.
You don't turn into a chicken.
Truly.
Truly.
It's okay. But it could be some chicken wings. It can be chicken tenders. It could be chicken breast. It could be shredded up chicken. It's some some white chili. Like, all the things. Stevie. It's just the best. You can have it so many different ways. Baked chicken, rotisserie chicken.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
They got the point. They got the point of chicken.
Yeah.
Yes. He loves chicken.
It's just great. It's just
mail me French fries in the mail and mail him chicken.
That's how we do it.
Well, I'm so grateful for you. You are the best boyfriend in the world, but also you are the best friend ever. And like you do a lot of things, but you do them well. And I truly believe it's because of your devotion to the Lord, but also learning how to rest because we do a lot of stuff and you know how to rest. So. Okay, well, this was super encouraging to me and like such a blessing. I hope that it was a blessing to you learning about patience. Patience is definitely a virtue. It's something that we need to hold in high esteem and really learn how to cultivate in our life because we live in a fast food culture. We always want things like microwavable and ready to get and ready to go. Yeah. But God doesn't. Fast food culture is not fruit of the spirit. He tells us to be patient, so we have to cultivate that in our lives. So I just hope that If you need to, rewatch this video. Learn how to get some patience. Be meditating on the word when it comes to patience. I know that's something that I have to do all the time. That's not a fruit of the spirit that I operate in at all. And I always have to go back to the word, and I'm like, God, please, please, please give me a heart of patience. Give me a heart of grace. Help me to operate in that with people, with myself, and with you, and trusting that you are good even when I'm waiting. Remember that you can find this on YouTube and on Spotify, and that you can follow us on Instagram, and please subscribe so that you can be a part of the Teas and Testimonies fam. Yes, and I'm sure Steve will see all your subscriptions and everything because he does all camera. He does all the camera things. I will say this one thing though about Steve. I literally came to him and I was like, Steve, this is my idea about the podcast, and I have no idea how it's gonna work, but this is just my idea. And he was like, let's go, let's do it. We need you to get a ring light. You got to get a microphone. You got to do this and do that. And so, Teas and Testimonies would not be what it is without him. So just so grateful for you. But also, yes, just continue to be encouraged. Remember to tell your story. Remember to walk in patience and all the fruit of the spirit this week and throughout the rest of your lives. But that's all I have for you. See you next week. Bye.